Hi everyone, welcome to this Python tutorial. Today we're going to be processing a list of whole numbers. On line 4 you can see a quick way to generate a list of 10 zeros, okay, or maybe 20 zeros, or maybe 1,000 zeros. So there's a very quick trick in Python to generate a list of numbers, to initialize a list. We're going to display the contents of the list by using labels, and the way my program is going to work, I'm going to use the built-in onKeyPress function in this sandbox. If I press P, I'm going to call this function. I'm going to populate my list with numbers. If I press A, I'm going to call this function, the sort ascending function, which I'm going to design. And if I press D, we're going to call the sort descending function. Now, these sorting algorithms, the one that we're going to look at today, is a classic algorithm called bubble sort. So let's get started. I'm going to start by defining my populate list function. And pretty straightforward. All it's going to do is go through this list, which has a length of 10. And for every element in the list, for each element, we're going to assign a random value between, let's say, 10 and 100. And after we've done that, every value in the list has a value. Every element, in the list has a value. We're going to call another function called I'm going to call it display list. Okay, so let's define the display list function. All it's going to do is going to process the list like we did before. And let's make a label for each number. So the value is going to be the number in the element that we're currently processing. The X, we want it to go across the screen. So say I multiplied by 40 with a little bit of an offset. And let's say the Y is 50. And we'll give it a size of 20 and a fill of red. And let's append this label into this list of labels. Okay, so num labels dot append. Oh, okay. So let's run my program. I'm going to press P on the keyboard and see what happens when I call the populate list function. Yay! Brilliant. Okay, let's press P again. Oh dear. No, I don't want that to happen. Okay, so what are we going to do here? When we call the display list function, the first thing we want to do is clear out the list, make it empty, and then we can display the next list. So I'm going to call a function called clear list first. Okay, so let's define that function. Again, we're going to process the list of labels. What do I call it? Num labels. And we'll just set the value of each of the labels to be an empty string. Okay, so clear list, and then display the latest data. Okay, so every time we press P, we update the numbers, and then we display them. When we display them, the first thing we do is clear the list and then display the new numbers. Okay, so let's see if that works. Yes, brilliant. Okay, so my populate list algorithm has been coded. Let's go into sort ascending. So we're going to define a function called sort ascending. Now this is a very interesting function. We're going to loop through the list and we're going to compare neighbors. And if this first one is bigger than this one, we're going to swap them. So let's compare these two. There's no swap. So we go to this one and we compare these two. Oh, yep, we're going to swap 75 with that 60. So they get swapped. So this is now 75. 75 is greater than 20. Yep. So this is now 75. 75 is greater than 61. Yep. So this is now 75. 75 is greater than 95. No swap happens then. We get to 95. 95 is greater than 93. Yep, that's true. So this becomes 95. 95 is greater than 40. Yep. So this becomes 95. 95 is greater than 74. Yep. So this becomes 95. And now we've reached the last comparison. Is 95 greater than 54? Yes, it is. So they get swapped. Notice I stop processing at the second last number. I stop here. Because at the last number, there's nothing to compare with. So this is where I stop. So let's just make a note of that. Don't forget to stop at the penultimate element. So for I in range, then numList -1, because we want to stop here. We don't want to jump into here. Okay. Now let's think about this. If numList I is greater than the next one, if numList I is greater than the one that's next to it, numList I plus 1, we're going to swap them. Okay. Now the way to do this is to create one temporary variable. So temp will be assigned numList I. So this is temp is storing this 46 here. It's safe. numList I will store numList I plus 1. Okay, so this would go here. In this situation, this isn't going to happen. Let's look for a situation where it will happen. So that we've got 95, and we're going to swap it with 93. So 93 gets stored in, 95 gets stored in temp. It's safe. 93 goes to 95, and temp goes to where 93 was. So numList, I didn't explain that very well, did I? Have a think about it. See if you can understand what's going on here. Okay. Store the first value. Make the first value equal to its neighbor. So the 93 will jump back to here. And this will be assigned the temp, which is 95. So we've just swapped 93 and 95. Okay. Let's run this and see what happens. I'm going to populate with P, and I'm going to sort with A. And it didn't work. Why didn't it work? We didn't display the result. So after we've done all of that, we need to call the display list function, which I've already designed up here. We need to display the new list. So let's call that function. Do the sorting, and then display the result. Okay? P, A. Ooh, okay. Something happened, but it hasn't sorted the array, has it? Let's do that again. P, A. P, A. Ooh, the biggest number in the array is always going to the end. Do you see that? P. So it should be 92, right? When I do A, let's do A. Yes. So I've just sorted one of the numbers. So I need to repeat this process to sort all of the numbers. So let's do this. I want to do all of the numbers, so len num list. So I'm going to do this, all of this here, again and again and again, until all of the numbers are sorted. So let's run the program. P, A. Yes, it's sorted. P, A. P, A. P, A. Yes, it's sorted. Brilliant. This is the bubble sort algorithm, and it uses a nested for loop. A for loop inside a for loop. Okay, this is known as a nested for loop. Okay, so your challenge is to code the sort descending function.